We started to work in Songyang about 5 years ago, and in the beginning we were asked by the local county government and also the villagers as advisors on their rural development, village by village. So that's how we get involved. The first two projects were the brown sugar factory and also the Hakka Indenture Museum. So each one is looking into individual characters of the different villages. Yeah. So the acupuncture works with minimal intervention approach to introduce a public program into each village according to the context, the heritage, and then the traditional crafts. And the goal is to serve the village community and also to restore the identity of this village. To work with the county is that you look at the village, the rural situation, not only as one village to make, with some of the projects in rural villages in China, in the country, with investments focusing on one village. The Songyang acupuncture is to target a sustainable strategy. So this can apply to other rural regions. In the first year, before the brown sugar and Hakka Indenture, we were working on pro bono projects like the bamboo pavilion in a tea plantation, a tea house, and then the villager center at the Tiantian village, another traditional village. And these are the projects that we work with the local construction teams and local contractors, and each project is working with different material. For example, the bamboo pavilion was with the bamboo construction, and then the Tiantian Village Center was more of a preservation project to work with the traditional tenon and mortise wooden structure technique. So yes, these are those are very local building techniques that was not familiar with, that was unfamiliar for me, and I did not work in this type of projects before. We used to work with the galleries, art centers in a village, in an artist village out of Beijing. So the first year was a lot of a struggle for us to to understand how to understand the local, not only the building techniques but also the building culture, how the local communities handle their constructions. First off, you have to understand that all these projects are working within a limited budget. Yeah. And also the acupuncture is to help the villages to restore the village identity. So yes, it's really case by case. We engage from very beginning to research, to investigate each village, and to set up the program after the communications. And so this helps a lot with the design, to push the design into looking for the unique heritage culture of this village, and also to build up something that and also for the material, to pick the specific material that fits with this context. The Hakka Indenture Museum, and it's built by the local stone construction. That was very popular in the ancient time, a long time ago. And a lot of these, how do you say that? And that was used a lot on the local construction, but the technique was actually they did not use it. They didn't continue to use this stone construction. So for this project, we would like to restore this traditional building techniques to create this kind of more like archaeological space. So we had to look for skilled workers in the beginning of the construction, and we could only find 3 workers in the whole region. They were over 50 years old. So yes, during the construction process, they had to train the new workers from very beginning. But yes, and after the project is built, they trained over 1,000 young workers. Yeah. So this become a kind of a process also to restore the traditional building techniques. It's very important, like I said, the acupuncture, you need to put the needle on the right spot, right? You have to be trained to be a skilled in this kind of how do you say in acupuncture, and the whole strategy is to restore the rural identity. So this really engages the tradition, the heritage. In the cities in China, yeah, let's say 10 years ago, in the past decade, every building in a city try to be iconic buildings, to be eye-catching, to stand out. But this restored the rural identity. These buildings in a village is different from the iconic building. It might just be, in most cases, the buildings are more quiet, but then it reflects the context, the people, the place, and the people. It reflects the real needs of the community. So this is different from, let's say, the iconic buildings to be something overwhelming, and actually you don't really understand the context or the past, the history that belongs to the city or or to the context, to the place. The buildings in the villages, we're trying to connect with the past, with the history. There are a lot of young architects, young and younger architects in China. The building culture might be different, and there actually it seems like there are a lot of opportunities for younger generations. But I think it's we don't have the system, to the the building culture has not become system a mature system yet. So that's the challenge for us. I think it's everywhere that you're always picked out as women architect, yeah. And we don't like that. We are architects, just like the rest. But it's inevitable, I think it's in China, in the city, in rural, and also it's universal. But in our situation, in the beginning, when there's always how do you say that, doubts on a woman architect come into this traditional village. Can she do it? And I think you just have to prove with actions. When you really can make things happen, you convince people. And I think it's in the beginning you have to really put yourself into work. You kind of ignore all these suspicions. How do you say it? Suspects? Yeah, you just suspicions. Yeah, you just have to ignore that. And once you made the projects real, and it's a solid proof. It's really incredible we don't have this event in China, so this is really amazing for the to see the presentations yesterday at the forum, and also today the speech. It was really beautiful work, incredible work, and you don't really put it, like how you specialize as women architects work, right? You don't have the kind of a category. To be an architect, you don't just work to satisfy yourself. You hope the architecture can address to contemporary social issues. And the issue of gender is one of these. So yes, and I think it's a really incredible event to have all of us here to speak up and to make a change. So one day, this is not an issue at all, and we don't need to speak about it anymore.